Hey friends, it's 3 a.m. in the morning and I can't sleep, and I want to apologise for the video I made yesterday where I basically had a meltdown and I went on and on about how, I should have left my boyfriend after I first met him. I met him when I just turned 45, and basically I feel like at 45 I still had a really good chance to fall pregnant. It's been much easier to fall pregnant at 45 than it is now at 47 and a half. And yeah, I'm so sorry, that I imposed all of my shit on some of you poor guys who were kind enough to listen. But I deleted the video because it was just, I just thought you guys don't need to hear my crap. But, yeah, basically I don't have a proper partner. My boyfriend has been fair-weathered for 2.5 years, and it's really hard to fall pregnant when you don't have someone you can bonk whenever you need to. But I was thinking about it, and I was talking to one of my friends, and he said, well, Lisa, you had 30 years, to try and have a kid, like from 15 to 45, and I squandered those years, all the months and all the years, I could have easily had a kid, in my 20s and 30s, Anyway, and I went to see the doctor yesterday, and it was bloody depressing. She was really, normally I don't see, this is the first time I've seen that doctor, and it'll be the last. And she was just ruthless and telling me that, at 47, the chances are so small, and, basically because blah, 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 speak to the hand. And, but yeah, I was just so depressed yesterday, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, there are some things I know, okay? So there's a professor called David Sinclair. He's actually an Aussie, but he's a professor at Harvard University and the University of New South Wales, right? So I'm going to put a link in the description below to a video where he discusses, where he's interviewed, and it's sort of part way into the video, or maybe there's a link to a part where they just discuss his part of the research. Maybe I'll put the link to both, right? So he's discovered this thing called NAD+, right? And it's like ATP, where if you guys that don't know, ATP in the cells in our body actually provides energy to the cell, but NAD+ is another sort of energy supply for the cell. And David reckons without NAD+, in our cells we die or something. Anyway, but what he's discovered is that if he put a precursor to NAD, which I think is called, is it NMR? Don't quote me on that, I can't remember exactly, but put this in the drinking water of mice or rats or whatever they're testing, right? They show that and it's increasing the amount of NAD in a mice's cells, right? They show an egg from the ovary of a mouse that is the equivalent of 55 years of age, right? And the DNA is all over the place. It's just all unstructured. There's no way that egg could get fertilized and grow to a healthy baby, right? And then they show, after 3 weeks of feeding a mice this supplement in their drinking water, right, which basically helps the body increase the levels of NAD+ in their cells, right, they show this egg, this ovary egg, after 3 weeks, and it's like the egg of a young mouse, right, like a really healthy egg. The DNA is all structured in that, right? And so this is in a mouse that's the equivalent of 55 years of age, right? And so that is bloody impressive, right? And what I know about NAD+ is that, so they're trying to develop a drug that they can make a shitload of money off, right, for people to, and it also improves muscle function and all of that in the body, right? Really quite rapidly if you can get these NAD+ levels up in your cells, right? Because he proposes that when you're young, people have a lot of this NAD+ in their cells, and as you grow older, NAD+ is reduced in the cells. But what I knew, right, is the whole documentary where this presentation is about fasting, right? So, but she doesn't actually say that you can actually achieve increased levels of NAD plus in your cells with like calorie restriction or fasting, but I just knew that there was a relation. I just instinctively had this feeling that there was a relationship, so I went looking for it, right? So I'm watching all these other YouTube videos and these interviews with David Sinclair, and I'm downloading his journal articles, right, on NAD plus, and dun dun dun, you can get increased levels of NAD plus naturally in your cells by calorie restriction, right? So obviously I feel like water fasting, you can get even more NAD plus increase in your cells, right? So, because in one interview, well, one presentation he does, at the end, the woman says, well, how can we achieve this sort of, what can we do in our lifestyle, right, to sort of, promote this naturally, right? And he says, try to feel hungry once a day. But obviously this is a casual point of view. For me, I want to water fast because that's going to give me the best results. But try to feel hungry once a day. Keep your protein levels low, right? And exercise. Now, the thing is that I'm a vegan, okay? I don't know if any of you guys know that, but I'm a low-fat, high-carb vegan, so I don't eat a lot of overt fats, okay? So, yeah, I get most of my nutrients, like my really dense nutrients from legumes and like lentils and quinoa and amaranth and all that, because they're super high in nutrients, right? Anyway, and I can get all that, everything pretty much I need from lentils and all that, like, instead of eating high-fat foods like nuts. And I have absolutely no oils in my diet or anything like that. Anyway, so, yeah, so anyway, and the other thing is about my age is, because in this book, Is Your Body Baby Friendly, they say, let me just see, make sure this is recorded. They say that this dude, he's dead now, Alan Beer, he says that like at age 47, the body starts like having anovulatory cycles and all this shit, and he says in this book that he knows that up until the age of 45, basically he believes you can have a pregnancy very safely, and I don't know, but after age of 45 it's all bad news, even in this book, right? Oh boy. Anyway, but he talks a lot in this book about immune system disorders and infertility, but also like he's got a section, a chapter called Hope for Older Mothers to Be. And anyway, but all the stuff I've read on, egg DNA damage and just everything that can go wrong, right, especially in this book, like with immune system disorders. Oh my God, there's like a bloody minefield at every turn when he talks about in this book, eh? But I mean, he proposes all this really aggressive therapy that I wouldn't want to do to sort of get around all these issues. But this is more for women, like in their early 40s, But I just feel like everything he talks about in that book, what I know from my research, is that basically water fasting can fix a lot of those issues, like like resetting the immune system, and helping DNA damage, and rejuvenating stem cells and all that, right? So I was thinking, what am I going to do next? Because I have two other issues that I haven't discussed with you guys. Well, I have a really bad back injury from 2005, and I spent like over $30,000 looking for help. I used to live in Switzerland. I went to all the best sports doctors, like that all worked for the Swiss Olympic team, physiotherapists, chiropractors. And then when I came back to Australia, I would fly to see the best of the best, and nobody helped me. It was terrible. And in some instances, it made me worse. Like, I couldn't believe it. They made so much money, and they didn't know anything. And in the end, I've improved my back better than anyone else. But I do suffer from compressed nerves in the spine, which those nerves innervate the visceral organ system. And so I suffer from nausea, and I also suffer from, I think, visceral organ dysfunction in general. So I do some stretching and that. Like, I've basically tried to manage it by stretching and that. But because of the way the vertebrae is sort of jammed, and it's been years I've been trying to unjam them, and it's just so hard. I still suffer these issues. So I think apart from my age and the issue with the electromagnetic hypersensitivity, which I also feel is partially linked to this issue in my back and its effect on my functioning of my organs, you know, this is another thing that I'm sort of makes it hard, like to fall pregnant at my age and have a kid, but I'm not deterred, okay? So I was thinking about what the next step is for me, and because, you know, like, I've only tried, like, really, I've been trying with my boyfriend, okay? So, like I said, when I first turned 46, I fell pregnant twice in rapid succession. So I turned 46 in October 2017, and I fell pregnant in October 2017, had a miscarriage in November, I think, or December, I can't remember. I had a miscarriage at 6 weeks. And then I fell pregnant again in January 2018, and I miscarried at 10.5 weeks. And then it took me 3.5 months for my period to go back to normal. And then I found I could not fall pregnant with my boyfriend again. And he's had 2 sperm analyses, and it's bad news, right? Because, like, especially his normal spermosa, it was only on the first sperm analysis, it was only 4%, and that's like the minimum, right? And like for healthy people, it's around 14%. It's still low, but, you know, in healthy people, it's 14%. But, you know, he's got rheumatoid arthritis, he's 52, and he breathes in chemicals every day. And in the second sperm analysis, I found that his sperm concentration, or his sperm count, had actually halved, right? So his normal spermosa was 6%, but his sperm number for the volume was half of that it was in the previous one, which was just pretty bad. Anyway, so, you know, I wonder what's him and what's me, but, you know, even with that relatively poor sperm analysis, he was able to help me fall pregnant twice in rapid succession before, right? So I could blame him, but I really do think it's me. So I've only tried to fall pregnant with my donor. I've only sort of I just got my period yesterday morning, so I'm not pregnant this month. I shagged my boyfriend during my fertile window this month just gone. Obviously, and I saw my donor once the day before ovulation, and I got 2 mil off him, right? 2 mil of sperm. And I haven't fallen pregnant, and I'm like so devastated. And then I remember watching this video of this woman, she's a lesbian in Canada, and she said her sperm donor came around to her place like for 5 months, like every month for 5 months, and it took her that long to fall pregnant. And she's 37, but she's 37, right? So, but, you know, it took her 5 months, and I'm like all depressed because, you know, I'm not falling pregnant the first time with my donor, but I have been using my boyfriend, and I still didn't fall pregnant, right? So, and it is a pain, like I said, because I don't have a proper partner, so I don't have someone I can just, if I see that I'm ovulating, I can't just shag it, because, like, he lives like 2.5 hours away, the donor lives like 3.5 hours away, you know. Anyway, so, you know, I was thinking, what am I going to do now? So, because I've got this issue with my back, you know, I still struggle with health issues because of that. And, you know, I haven't fallen pregnant, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think I'm going to water fast again. So, as of today, I'm going to start a 9-day water fast, because it's only going to be 9 days because I've got to go and see my doctor next week. Okay, so, and then I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm hoping that, I'm thinking of going hardcore on the water fasting, because, you know, I was wondering how much is enough water fasting for my egg quality and all that. Like, I can see from the water fasting so far, it has improved my hormone, the behavior of my basal body temperature. Pre and post ovulation is better since water fasting. So I can see it's affected my hormones positively, right? Hormone function, which I believe is reflected in my basal body temperatures. But yes, I am wondering if I have done enough for my egg quality and all of that. So, because, you know, you think about it, I'm like 47 and 47 and 4 months old, and You know, like, I'm in deep shit with my age, but, and I say, I don't have any more time, but I don't know, I deeply feel that the more I water fast, like I've seen in the science, fasting and calorie restriction turn back the clocks of time in the body, okay? Turn back the clocks of time in the immune system, turn back the clocks of time, or the hands of time, whatever, in the reproductive system. Because I also want to say that, I know this video is too long, I shouldn't have made another video, but anyway, when I look at the studies on the older rats that they calorie restricted for 4 months, like the fertility in the older rats, mice that were calorie restricted for 4 months, right, they produced more live, healthy offspring, right, in their older age after calorie restriction than the young mice did, okay, when they weren't calorie restricted. Okay, so they took 2 sets of mice, they grew them to adulthood, which was 10 months, right? Then they didn't calorie restrict 1 set of mice, and they calorie restricted the other set of mice for 4 months, okay? So at 10 months, the normally fed mice started producing from 10 to 12 and a half months, right? And they produced offspring. Then the calorie restricted mice, they were taken off their fasting, I think around month 14 or 15, like, I'm confused that the journal article wasn't written well, but it seems to me they were calorie restricted for about 4 months or 5 months, right? But after that, they were pumping out babies, super healthy babies, into their old age, right? So, and more healthy, more offspring than these uncalorie restricted young mice, okay? And by 15 months, these young mice, I think only 1 mouse after that produced an offspring, right? All the others were infertile, but these things were pumping them out, okay? At 15 months until 23 months. Okay, so whoa, that is freaking amazing. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like even though, the hands of time, like, my age is against me, I feel like fasting, although it's sort of counterintuitive, okay, I don't have time, I'm going to try and have a kid every month, but I do feel that, I don't know, I do feel like I need more fasting. It seems like the right thing to do, and to sort of, hopefully turn back the clocks of time in my reproductive system more, and my egg quality and all that. So okay, well, thanks very much for watching, and if you're still with me, I'm going to try and go back to sleep now. And you guys have a nice day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.